Yeah, just real quick, Mr. Roos, concerned about the, one of the conditions with approval from Ministry of Transportation, and one is site access plan, if you want to call it, design plan, allow transport carriers to circle through the lot and get in and out without having to go on 40th Street. And if I can, again, just talk a little more about the future development on that site, those other 2 acres. Sooner or later, it's certainly going to happen. At that point in time, I might be the first guy standing up here saying, hey, let's get the curbs and gutters and you know, what need to be done at that, because it's obviously going to enhance you know, the development. At this point in time, I just don't see any need to be done. All right, thanks.
You know, maybe just if there's somebody who hasn't spoken who wishes to speak, I'd like to let them speak first. Any further presentations? Yes. Mr. Brady.
My name is Derek Brady. My address is 551 25th Street Southeast in Salmon Arm. And I would like to speak strongly in favor of the development. For all the reasons you've heard, and then some. Having been through the same experience 9 years ago, not having a fire destroy the place, but taking a business and developing and making it better for the community, taking a tax base of $35,000 and turning it into $72,000, which I believe is good for the community. To Otto's comments, I don't know if you remember when I sold you your car in 1987, but you're not going to find a cleaner than the automobile business. So that area has already been zoned for commercial. It's happened, it's there. So if it were I would choose that over most other businesses. And I do know, so to me the concerns are not whether it should be there or not, it's should we grant the variances. I know council at the time of the day when we did our thing, it was a cash contribution in lieu of. When the development happened, there would be cash there. I can speak now, 9 years later, that development hasn't happened. We don't have sidewalks. We don't have many of the things that we thought might have happened in 9 years. So that can happen very, very quickly. And I don't believe Mark is saying, I don't want to participate. He's saying it doesn't make good business right now. And if we want this business to move, to relocate, to be successful, then I think we should grant the variance and deal with the consequence down the road. So and I think we speak from fairly good experience, and I can only rely on the council here to exercise good judgment. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Masters.
Mr. Worship and councillors, I just have a quick question about the variance about...
Name and address.
Oh, wait, sorry, White Masters, 41 10th Ave Southeast, Salmon Arm. I have a question about the variance about the sewage treatment on the site. In my research into water treatment for the last couple of years, I keep seeing a reference to industry and the future use of nanochemicals on the site. Nanochemical is a very small chemical, smaller than a microchemical, and I'm just wondering about whether sewage treatment will actually emit this pure water that I saw in the one proposal. I believe that planning and development did have an issue with it, and I hope that possibly the sewage treatment would be checked by federal authorities under the new National Water Strategy, which was just formed this spring. And otherwise, the $90 a barrel for oil, which just happened last day, I hope this industry success because they will need it.
Thank you. Any further presentations?
Came here tonight, so I might as well talk. I'm Robert McKibben, 2511 4th Avenue, Southeast.
Thank you.
And thank you too. I'm a realtor with Century 21 here in town, and I represented Mark Bannister and person around there. And shortly after GM experienced the fire, we went into a mad frenzy looking for possible sites that could be an option for Mark to relocate to. Took an aerial photograph of the center, and we went property after property after property that would be. This was actually a gentleman that had some property at the just a little bit farther down, and Vic passed along the notion that this property could be put on the market. And sure enough, the seller was willing to put it on the market through Jeff Stacer. And Jeff had that property marketed for several months while we had a conditional offer tied up. And I do believe that there were no other offers on the property during the time. So if there was a neighbor that wanted to buy the property for any purpose, they could have put and kept it non-existent or in its current non-use. The previous owner was a trucking company, and they did run a trucking business on that site for a number of years, as we heard. And the property did have the proper zoning for Mark to go ahead and build a dealership on, so it fit. It was literally the only piece of property that we could find as an option to Mark moving off the land. Now obviously, I'm sure everyone's aware of his site that he currently has is an optimal location. And this new site is not as optimal. However, the fact that it's a freehold title, it's not on native land, was a big factor. And of course, that's a benefit to the district that GM is now moving on to rather than Adams Lake Indian Band land. And to speak to the development permit and the variances that have been applied for, I can let you know that Mark is an excellent person. He's a wonderful businessman to deal with. And this has been quite a financial setback for Salmon GM. The negotiation of the lease with the Adams Lake Indian Band did not really go well in his favor because he did have 18 years currently left on that lease, and he had to negotiate breaking that lease, so that was not in his favor. Land costs were pretty much at a high with the speculation of Walmart coming in and purchasing property here off the Trans-Canada Highway. So the land costs were very, very high. And of course, the new building is going to be very expensive to build in today's economic climate. So the current site that Mark operates on is 2 acres. This new site is 3 acres, so that also poses an additional cost. So as a fellow developer, businessman, and community member, I would speak to those variances that they are to assist Salmon GM in this economic crunch that they've been going through. I have a lot of respect for a man that employs 35 families in our community, and I believe that that should carry a lot of weight with your decision in giving him those variances, and I do not believe that those variances will have any effect whatsoever on the future development of those areas. I'm pretty sure when I checked the ALR layout, he's pretty much surrounded by ALR. And in marketing some of those properties in that area, I understand that the ALR will not be releasing any of that land for about 5 years. So there's really not going to be any compensation for bringing those services all the way down to his property for at least 5 years. I believe that those variances are well within your approval. Thank you very much for your time. Good luck, Mark.
I don't like to encourage debate or discussion, and I'm going to ask for further presentations. I would ask if we could avoid repetition. Asking again for presentations from the public.